Abuja for mo nyina ha mo kwa ba biom so eba enne na wotwe dwumadie a yewo adema mo Mmra Nsem dwumadie so. And then so atena say na holiday there but we decided to bring it to you. It's not that easy. I'm like a lawyer for Canada cuz like mom so ko home kakra. But ya won wodi atwi atwa ko na ba wo ti kwan kran say so no bo na ba. Enti am part with na ba. Tena be din komo. Wona komo ayebedi ne komo ho behia pa and me stress obaji bratna ofidie ne ho na wahwe yen yabre so a be somewhere 4:35 over bi ne be bia homa natom na wo question what me afre na what me busa your WhatsApp line so enche be screen so na so be send a message bia so the first bia dia baso na question bia so bia no busa enen komo ayebedi ne yedi afa se obi be se woto edan Mmra mu dia ya na say property na say land Mmra mu ka say land ni nyina ma dan na mu na sasase na mu nyina the same thing. But say we koto dan so koto sase yantam e na wo a wo koto sase no e wo se hu what are you supposed to look out for dey na say ohwehwe ansa na watu aka mata sase ena say nkomo ne gya ye ni mu ntia wo bepa ehunuhu na free aloya for na wonu die ne nchen na wo ma church de city na ochena unzo kopa sase bi ato ana akoto dan bi obi asie wi a wanyem fumso watumi adi so pepe not na bi no so asem bi am misi mu ankopi mu court na se bi amfo ankopi court we ni nkoma ye bedi wetwe ho bakete wa bi ba ya de lawyer ni bedi nkomo na din e batu dwane ayi na kire na fe ya fe nkomo di na se etwe ho rasia
Mene kwaku owusu ajei pato abrasamadu katawire wo sobrobo mensa kwaku abridi abrada sumaya echimpani echimofra ere agene be kasa problem e wo nyina ne say yetimi wo say problem wo manum na ye problems ne nkofo de ye business enti da bia kwan on person ye ne say on person problems ne ka ho na ma wadwe nya o say ye betena be keka nsam e be ma otirimu aye ode de hia be bo my Ghana ho nkomo ene e ba be die ya bre obi aba no aba be kan de obi aba no aba be kan de ere de nya sa de be ni bio ya ni abre ya be kan se de sitie bia ama what de se de sitie me kura de mi nanka de send the bluetooth bia ma obroni be say no matter whose ox is god ya be kan go atem jiba de efri ewia no mi no kopum se be bono ntia agene kasa on original 91.9 FM I nyansa fi
On this special occasion, the Jospon Group, together with the Asian African Consortium, AAC, extends a heartfelt salute to the unsung heroes of our nation. Together, we are building a nation, and your contributions are the cornerstone of our collective success. Thank you, dear farmers, for being the architects of growth and progress. Happy Farmers Day. Ayiko!
You the buyer, who are person koto sase so person koto dan. E de na wo se wuhu. E de na se wunim ansa na watam usika. Say full payment, say part payment. E de ma obi se je na me person meto sase. E de na so. Se nkomo na ye bedi ni age nchire mo ni nim de na free lawyer for nchen o mo na wonim de no. Na ochina de kro no se wo person koto bia wo anya fom so. Ochina de kro no person koto bia obi ankotam ankogina court se bia masase na atọ se bia say. When the right step to take and no come on and yebedi jebre na trans na tran ofie no ni na hwe na wo questions a your WhatsApp line no beto screen so wadaroma otumi asende questions no dia ba ye be jebre kan you ano kama so around 4:35 and so maybe ya ho anatum na so poso fra wa fra na question bia bebusa bia no oposo busa no sorry wo busa ma no so no ya je ho ya dia ma kama wadaroma se bre no so na fra wo modin ara se wo mfa I mean, yeah, not one TV free TV, so it's often at I see, but you best say offer. Do TV has to be a low TV in the crowd. Na bomodi tea home from the phone, and that the make be no so better. Na fe it made come on. Council, you mo cover.
Me jo so menia.
Be aboko there.
Nyame adom.
Good. You are looking good. Thanks. Bomodi say what me. Sorry, that's say what me. Ajibre Abba was a Nanam a tight day for you. Normally Fridays are very tight, but that's what we give right.
So original, the original won't say my essayba. And the original and won't see essayba.
That's it. So, yeah, as it were, say, me person me talk assassin, me say me talk dying as a buyer. What do I have to know?
Okay, Onia. First of all, me train shadanye and maybe I make So first of all, I say who say about litigation cases I all court Ghana. Statistically, I say about 75 to 80% of all cases in the high courts of Ghana are land-related issues.
Wow.
I'm giving the statistic to demonstrate the fact that nsase ho asem court pa. Ushema a patre say a man for shada nye normal ese omoye ansa no moto ansase no.
Okay.
Omo ansase so omo di mmra nkwan so ansa no moto ton ansase no. So we nyina the December.
I see.
So that's resulted in the massive scale of land litigations at our courts. So subject we MNG say what the subject we about. It's very important subject because especially for us as young people because then I say ye ni hwe afena ye bob
and every bibi
aha nti abankran ye say yamba akran behwe pomp enti yamba behwe mpo no matwi no dia
ano anya hwe wo de enko
yamba behwe pom no nti say yetimi to nsase wa akran baby obi a say to nsase so it's important that we're able to do things the right way. So basically one of the very important things to do is that when you are buying land be shown where the land is. Usually buyers of the land or more the almost site plan beba. Site plan never try say baby a wigi wo no. Hono na assassin wo no. Omo no mo fa site plan aba. Don't rely on that site plan.
Okay.
Land requires a lot of patience in the purchase of land. It requires a lot of patience.
And so it's also nyambotre wo no tom.
Pepe. You follow the due process. Me rush it. We catch us say, oh, more assassin or doing more assassin or adenta for 100,000 bra. Don't do that. Make sure first of all you involve a lawyer.
Okay.
Make sure first of all, second, you're able to get your own surveyor.
Apart from one surveyor,
there be my friend.
Once for one
wow surveyor. Kofa coordinates of land almost on beto amount.
Okay.
And Tomuka say land here. Table way surface area. Ma wow survey and befa coordinates no.
Okay.
Or fa coordinates are what they obe generate site plan amount. Use the site plan no. Then found call lands commission.
I could check it.
What do you call lands commissioner? They would use those same coordinates and then do a search.
Okay.
So what exactly is a search? The search is a process that goes through the system, the records within the records of the lands commission to ensure that the ownership of the land, the history of the ownership, there's something we call root of title.
Okay.
In law, people are a root of title. And
that's why be assassin no free.
I say Nakagana Mpua, Nakebeka say Ghana presidents for Yebeka Akufado, Yebeko John Mahama, Yebeko Mills, Yebeko Rawlings,
that root
okay. And two Kotas, I say who say assassin. We ne toye, we to free her, we free her, family we ne mano, ebia unkonya bi wa Ashanti region bi ne one. So we're able to demonstrate who has owned the land in the past. But basically, you are just basically doing a search to ensure that nobody else owns the land and that the one selling the land to you is the rightful seller.
Sanity.
What I say? Because
and you'll be an
so make sure you're buying from the right source because 80% of litigation costs on which are amount for be amount to land from the right persons. Some of them also buy from the right person. The right persons have sold to 3, 4, 5 multiple buyers. December. So the first thing you have to do, get your own surveyor, pick coordinates of the land, cause a search to be done at the registry of the lands commission, and ensure that the person you are buying the land from is the right person.
I see.
That's an important step.
Okay.
Second, what is the plan for the use of that land? That area no. A residential and a commercial. And they've set it down for agricultural purposes. No, but well, it's important for you to do things the right way because Accra, most people have built lands in contravention to law.
Okay.
Because now we are seeing the very manifestation of flats. Who say flats don't because like I say ubia di Mmra no kwan so a wonim say hadie enye se mesi dan na ka ebia nso ba and be affecting the dan But the fact that we don't follow the law and what the land has been set aside for, the use for which the land has been set aside, it's one of the reasons why we have floods in Ghana.
But when money back also okay.
Okay.
Obitimi ko area ne pa na wa hunu se asase
beto
midru ho be nkrofo de kra na
fele. And that's the problem. That's the problem. So it's important for you to know where you are buying the land, what is the use of the land. And indeed, some areas have been earmarked by governments that in future a bear coin.
Okay.
What I say? A bear coin. Motorway say there's I'm told that there's an attempt to expand the motorway.
Yeah.
But you realize that some houses are going to be affected.
Yeah.
You go to some other parts.
Warehouses need to be
I know when the NDC was constructing roads in its tenure, I mean a grand effort at roads during the NDC tenure, some houses had to be affected because they had gone into lands demonstrated and earmarked for roads. So it's important for you to know the use of the land. What has that land been earmarked for?
I don't know how will you know. No.
District Assembly, no.
Okay.
Every local government area has a certain plan, a cadastral plan.
Okay.
That plan shows the use of all the lands within its locality.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So it is not enough only for you to just go and do a well, the search may also reveal that.
Okay.
But also the District Assembly within which you are buying the land should also be able to tell you that, hey, baby, I'll see where there. Abaya can say Dachi, Yabesi Hospital.
In December, turn what denta. Nese you okay to say be here say meko e bia
then District Assembly or sa pepe
anase bia meton wo Madina say meko
Lan Kwantanan sa pepe
municipal assembly
absolutely
na makohwe say asase bia meton wo e bia cemetery area ya meto yi the cemetery no yan ka say o tena be extend that cemetery to that point anase bia ho no e me school o tena
no na waka no.
But how
many
people do this?
People don't do it. But you see, the problem is that it puts political actors in a very tight corner because you go and a buyer goes to offend the law, and in future, politicians and civil, what do you call them, district local government agents have to now, they have to develop the place, and you are begging. Look at what happened at Wager. You remember the mad slang or something? That happened about 2 years ago. Wager, Kotogu area and all of that. People had to beg when the government wanted to demolish it. They were begging. But the fact of the matter is that people breach the law. And see, it's important because we are there and you won't affect you.
Yeah.
It affect you. Sika obe say in future no. Ebe more than what you've even spent in building, buying the land, and then even living over the period.
Yeah.
So it's important that it's done right. And very importantly, one thing that has led to people being in this particular situation is that they don't involve lawyers.
And
they don't involve lawyers.
They okay. See, me me so no. But idea ba akwa da bia metai kan se Ghana for edi enya kase uko Nigeria.
Yeah.
So be to enan no bi kwota wo to dan ni wie no a. The next motive ne say or lawyer not dan na ma lawyer. It is dan ni han. Said dia. Won landlord nje.
For lawyer ho.
Bibia ni na report the lawyer go to the lawyer go say. One only case bia. So tom so ya dia ban o kon lawyer. As you come here.
Yeah.
Me person me am ma de. Na asamba ho momu a
na ansa na ko lawyer ho satan e bia asem na say
90% of Mizo coming to say about 80-90% of that am for crying.
Yeah.
They don't even have tenancy agreement.
They don't have it.
They don't. Landlord said that some of them attempt to remember home and the time na some Benjamin rent. And why?
Sometimes see after a landlord be because buy na me paint here and after the painting. Meanwhile there was no contract. There was no binding contract. So it's important that in all of these things you're able to involve a lawyer, involve the experts. Otherwise the cost in future is going to be much more for you. Involve the experts. So go and find out the topography of the land. Maybe this place is a marshy area. Don't understand, don't know. We are not geographers, we are not like experts in the environment and all of that. We may not know. So go and involve. So basically, what you have generated as a site plan, is the same site plan you're using at the Lands Commission, the same site plan you're also going to go to the Assembly just to check, to ensure that everything is in consonance. We are normally we are. In fact, before I proceed, I mean, explaining a few things. You know, assassin wasem, assassin ownership, no, there are different types of ownership of land.
Okay.
Oba Ghana, baby or how a family home or bekwato.
Okay.
Oba and Crime say most of the lands belong to families.
Okay.
And to because a family attack we are family. Obeko family way, they are the ones selling it.
Need true family, whatever.
In other parts of Ghana, no, a clan system. Clan. Family land. Family land. And to beto I say oko ebusia penyu ho another designated person who is supposed to act on behalf of the family. So the fact that Ebia asasi we lawyer family there and just say lawyer na betuma aton. And say oko obia Yaman to me.
Okay.
I don't know bit my tongue assassin.
Okay. I think there and you know more of Eastern region areas in April.
There are most Akan areas.
Most Akan areas.
Eastern region, Ashanti region, the Bono area, and all of that.
Bono.
Oko Miami Honoma, Northern Ghana.
Yeah.
Most of the land belong to Tendanis.
Okay.
Most, not all.
Okay.
Most of the land belongs. Some traditional rulers also own lands, also individuals own land, but most lands, especially in the Upper East area, lands belong to Tendanis. And Tendanis is Asasura.
Okay.
And in North Kasano, Boga for Kasa Honomo.
Okay.
They say Tenga assassin. Dana Yura.
Okay.
And Asasura. Sana friend say Tendana. So basically the lands belong to Tendanis.
Okay.
And they are usually the original settlers. So basically a family land, it's not one person. So Tendana and Esha Assassinema Ebusiano. What I say. So northern sanity. Now so there are also lands that belong to the government.
Okay.
And they are state lands. Government land here, you can't go and take it. Unfortunately, in this government, in this regime, I'm seeing them selling off government lands. Which, well, it's not a political show, but I mean, as a citizen of Ghana, this is one of the things I'm very disgusted about. I'm disgusted about it because these are lands belonging to us, generations after us, and even those after them.
And now because I speak across, so
okay. So state assassin, and yes, and yeah, maybe a minister be an cabal be or baby, on Bequaco, Nkukum, no maton, Ebia, Maton, so those are things we have to frown upon. But the point is that government lands are also another category of lands.
Okay.
And really, there's another whole procedure on how to acquire government lands if it has to be done legally.
Okay.
So those are the various kinds of lands that we have. So it's important for you to know where you are buying the land. Say a private individual, then you are dealing with the person who owns the land directly. Say a busia sasia, make sure you are dealing with the right person.
Right person na etimi base. Family no akomunchen, especially in Greater Accra. Na obi abasa one na family head na do achira won why bibia wakono tuasa sika with this come amani pay. Then another person will come tomorrow and tell us on mum na family head. And that the okohu no anya the rightful person. The question is akoy masi bro for whom am I to know the abusian say when the well recognized person and a way the only well recognized for the person.
Okay, so you see this is quite, it can be difficult. I agree with you. It can be difficult for you to, especially when there are feuding factions, each one with a certain clout of authority or threat. But that's why I say assassin nto. Am I saying it right?
Yeah,
the purchase of land nto.
I saw the
Maybe if it will even take 3 months for you to investigate to know who the rightful person to deal with, do that. Spend time.
Okay.
Don't rush into it. But you see, one red flag in the purchase of land, they say, oh, once I see obi so person auto. And he would also seek a basis here. Never be pushed to say that, oh, I say, yes, I won't assassin. If you get it, you don't get it. Don't waste, don't rush. That's one trick they use in getting people. So spend time. Make sure you do due diligence. Due diligence. I say, obe banku. Obe ka banku. You say obe nuance will share. So there's a process to make banku. If you do not follow the process, banku no round. Your friend is saying, so person your banku na be here. I say would process no so. And the assassin ton no so. I say would the laid down procedure. Be patient about it. So one of the ways in which you can be able to identify which one is fake and which one is original is subject them to a test. Subject them to, you search around, you ask around. And most family, anyone that's appointed to lead a family, there's some form of authority behind that. They usually would even sign something to say, this family, we have appointed so and so as the official head of the family. So make sure you do all your due diligence and select the person you are going to do it. So that's an important consideration to do based on the various types of land. So I started by talking about the fact that you have to cause a search, and that search must be instigated by the coordinates of your own surveyor, because there are instances where the supposed seller of the land gives you a wrong site plan. Maybe a site plan and you assassin a site plan. So he gives you a good site plan, which actually is not representative of what's on the ground. So that good site plan is what you use to go to such a lands commission. It says that the land belongs to him, when in actual fact the land he's selling to you is not what's on the site plan. Then potentially becomes a problem. People also have a way of demonstrating possession over land.
Okay.
Possession of the land, well, maybe I may get there, but let me just explain a bit about possession.
Okay.
That asase a person auto, Don't pay the money in full. Deal with a lawyer.
Okay.
If I were a lawyer for client A who is purchasing land, I will not say go and pay a huge amount of money for the purchase. No, we pay in phases. You pay, say, 10% of the land. Then we have some sort of agreement that you've agreed to transfer your interest in the land to me or to my client. And based on that, we give you 10% of the value. Next step, we sign another document, which is like a conveyancing deed, a deed of conveyancing between you and the one that's buying.
Yeah.
Again, they give a certain amount of it. And all of these things are gradual steps that would also be able to bring about anyone who wants to contest your ownership. Okay. Because if you've signed the agreement to transfer ownership, that means you begin to exercise a certain level of authority over the land. Yeah. For one trip, I bought one trip kotuso. Ebi akodua mango ana some commercial be exercise assassin because obi o asase bia obi fufuro be ye bibi asase so obeti correct enya wo na obehwe mpo a wo obi a ohwe obetimi ko ka kire wo obekre oh chale obi abe fa anua beto asase eya wo na de ba ya na adabi enya wo a. So when you go and demonstrate that act of possession over the land, anyone that has a counter claim to the land, that wants to show that he also would come out. So by which time you'd have already paid a part of it, then maybe your lawyer would help you to get out of that quagmire. Okay. So it's important for it because it's a free advice. Oh, of course. You don't have to pay all of it. Of course. But in all of this also, it's important for us to realize that a lawyer is very germane in the process of the acquisition of land. Very, very germane. If you don't do that, you're going to potentially lose. So there are various processes, and the ultimate document that would prove that you own land is when you have a land title certificate. Okay. So assuming that you have gone through these processes that I've outlined, you've gone to cause a search, you've gone to the district assembly, you've exercised some form of possession over the land, and there's nothing that counters your ownership or your possession of it, you start your process of registering the land. Well, there's an indenture that also comes. The indenture is not final. Okay. In Ghana, most people think that when you have an indenture over land, it is final. But you know, that is one of the main reasons why, because people can go behind you, even based on a fake indenture, and then go and get land title certificates. In fact, I think that the Lands Commission should also be investigated because there are a lot of criminal things happening from the Lands Commission. I have heard. In fact, when you look at some of the cases in court, someone has a title to land, and then a rival party claiming ownership of the land is able to get another land title certificate from the same Lands Commission. So how is Lands Commission able to give to two different parties over the same parcel of land? That's a problem. That's the problem. But basically, a land title certificate is what will demonstrate your final authority and ownership over land. So it's important for us to do that. But one other important thing I need to mention is that when it comes to the ownership of land, the government of Ghana can take anybody's land. Hey. Yes, the government. Whether a individual assassin. So I buy here assassin on now, some rat say, buy Bejia, as a compensation that is commensurate with the land that they have taken. Because if the government wants the land for the sake of the public good, Abia Asasiwe is very well suited for a university, or suited for a hospital, or suited for a school, or suited for something that. University of Health and Allied Sciences. Absolutely. And as energy and natural resources. Absolutely. As I say, was an abundance here. Yeah, sometimes the chiefs will willingly give out. But in case a particular place is well suited and the government needs it, the government can take it, irrespective of who owns it. But the government must pay back adequate compensation. I was someone Patasikabi. So basically, no way in Sema met marker on the purchase of land. Thank you. The purchase of land. Now, so we'll share the definition of land by Justice Olenu. If you remember that definition of land, he said that land is anything on the surface of the earth up to the sky above. Correct. And down. And even beneath. You understand? So that means that Okoto Asase na Bisiswa, Adia Sisuno, Eye. Okay. Except say Adia wo form no, Eye natural resource. A good year. Say be all you be pium. We toye, we so dia, we so I saying, we so I say. On what baby at the chair the sign the beer. One more de grand copy of and soon to cry a diamond. One more de young could be a quarter.
the Wombo and I said also, Mr. Womo, the Ukrainian court on the Ukrainian no near Penny Becker. So what I say. So, in simple terms, at the chair the saying in her. As I soon monsoon, as Sorianopa, as Soria, as Soria Numeri, Uti Foundation no be about, but digging fee. Maybe some questions, digging fee no man one. No, I'm trying to say, if you are not managed to say, Mr. Asia, no me to foundation, as I'm digging fee. Maintain several from Canada, I didn't cry. And another things in BC, no be about. And they come in her, but you know, every week, and that's almost here, so what question be? You also apply never to screen so. What me at the questions number na yaje akenkan my lawyer na what me yi no kama na in the next almost 5 minutes or so no and so no ye be ya ho natom wa question na so afre na ya tie questions no yaje ho anu ye sefata de ma kama but me dey come ye di ayo de lawyer en de tie dwom ne a o chekere no mani so enyina ye fa no lawyer Philemon La ono ana ne wajebre ne holiday yakana shahara ene opompo church ade ne but I think so far when yaje de akubia ho medin Twum Barimah ento enkomodi so council back to you so o hwe de wakan nyinara some yes searchi some hwe some masase no eni ba bi ochina ye de be school eni ba bi ochina ye de be market eni ba bi ochina ye be yi kwan afa ho na bas medan amatom bo asiesie ni kama yes ye de be market nti e se ebufiri ho yes ye ya no be kwanti e say ye ifiri ho wasem hwem say wasansa tire amafutuo bi say ne toni mu no ma mentam sika bum fe ma asase ne ye let's say 100,000 Ghana cedis matam nyina de ma asase uraje
menya da
wo say ehia se matom bu ase e woni sika tua na de be ma ade na sipi asita na akoyie na nko ha me otena no e be bo ase me ko pasase ata na se me ko pedan bi ata mama famia me penkoto ni mo means kope lawyer bi no ni manim enkope ne toni ani mo na be boa na wati abo mo hwemu ni yenimu na otena asem bi ankoba ho so now ne say ni nyina ye di ni saa so ni ewie asase na be di mensam se mensa kan den cha no a men se title registration dia no no se me kan no lands me boa
lands commission
okay enti in between se mensa kan me sorry me den cha no a me train se na se me person me kokoye me title no.
Okay, so what I've come to experience about, let me use the Greater Accra, or let me use Accra specifically as an example, because we are all in Accra. Talk about how it's like in other parts of Ghana. But in Accra, for example, from experience and my interaction with clients, I realized that if you have the capacity to immediately commence work, I'll tell you to do your work. Once you have your indenture, if you've satisfied all of these procedures, start your work. But also immediately start the process of getting your land title certificate. Continue to get the land title. Absolutely. Time, no. I think the Lands Commission should try to find a way of making this quick because it can take about a year or two. Answer your land title, no. I don't know why it takes so long. You know, so my call to the Lands Commission is to try to expedite this because it will help to reduce all of these contentious issues of land. Because once you have your final document that proves ownership, I mean, you
now the can say, oh, be at that quarter. Maybe Twum Barimah the title by Philemon La, also the title.
Yeah.
Asasi Bako. In Tianos, and why the correct.
And then court never. In that particular case, at the end of the day, I think they found that one of them was fictitious. One went to Lands Commission based on a fictitious indenture. You understand? So based on the fictitious indenture, the Lands Commission supposedly erroneously gave out a land title certificate. That's how the court determined it. I hear they went to appeal. I don't know what the outcome of the appeal has become. But you see, all of this shows that when due diligence is done, especially not just by us, but also by the state, the Lands Commission, it helps in forestalling. You know, there are parts of Ghana where land litigation is not very big.
Oh yeah, and
it's not very big.
So, Okoba is a central region saying. Some matons are saying, "Bum, son,
so we know. So traditional leaders have a responsibility. Heads of family have a responsibility. The Lands Commission have a responsibility. But also you are viewers. That's why we're talking to you today. Most of that responsibility is up to you. Because if we do not go and buy the land, all these problems will not come up. So make sure that when you are buying land, get a lawyer Don't say it's expensive. It's more expensive if at the end of the day.
One follow and no times
50 bisa. So it's important to get everything right from the very beginning.
You are very right. You are very right. You are very right.
Who can send me, bra? Who can send me about digging fee?
Digging fee.
There's nothing in the law. There's nothing in the law that says digging fee. And so now be shasi. And what was so I said boys with balangas. There be. It doesn't work like that. What I say, there's a new law, the New Land Act.
2020.
Yes, Act 1036. It even criminalizes the activities of landguards. I have seen at first instance how landguards have operated in Accra and of course other parts of Ghana because they have so brazenly
and the impunity that they have.
Impunity. And you know the new law criminalizes it. So I hope that the enforcement of this particular provision of Act 1036 would be strong and that landguards will no more be a cause of worry. But basically, no, Udi Mmra Nsem, when you're a lawyer, the risk is way less.
All right, where Richmond was say good afternoon, Chief. This lawyer conversation is solid and knows his stuff. The influence and confidence with which he explains the issues alone. In fact, it's scary these days to even think of buying land in Accra. Arago.
Yeah.
What? Was he a whom push over to cry in the first place in Pussy? Oko pass as a crato. Now got 10 one cry. And gradually at the end of the day, that's a question.
Yeah.
Otokoso can was it it's very scary yet to think of him buying land in Accra. And sometimes the persons you engage to do due diligence for you, most often don't do any proper work. And later issues arises later. In fact, it's better to buy a completed building than to invest in a land in Accra. Kudos to him. My name is Richmond.
Okay, so that brings about the other aspect of our conversation.
Okay, which is property, no? A finished property, a series, and I'm some person me kotobia. Me am person me ton. Then I say me
Asema me kind it's also important for you to start again to do a search, and the search on that particular portion where the house is will demonstrate if the owner is a real owner. It also shows if there's a land title certificate. Usually, most houses in Accra may not exactly have a land title certificate, but because the house is standing, maybe you are a bit safe. Not absolutely safe, though. But so there's something we call a transfer of lease. So the owner, Ghana, you don't have absolute ownership of the land for the rest of your life.
Say
most lands, lease, most of the land, no, 99 years, most.
So you
get the point. So you never have absolute, just that you have a certain reversionary clause where potentially after the expiration of say the 99 years, you can get another 20, 30, 40 years or something. So be sure that you've done that to know how many years is left of the lease on the house you are buying. And then I see yet name how many years is the owner having? Maybe Akabe 40 years. You need to know that.
Okay.
You need to also know if the current owner has a reversionary clause in his indenture.
As a 40 in this one.
40 this one. If you are a bit man, 30 be a know that.
And the new train and then you have to be a midnight. And so now for a question, we will be answering on the phone lines. Mmra Nsem.
How's it going?
Who's good? You are doing well.
The tree, no.
It's good. Now, one for the caller, university, you are doing well.
Mmra yenya ye fa hodi ebesi ene empempen so oman edu efa sikasam ho ya pomudin nsem ye school nsem ho ene empo ye nwere mu kane ya ensem ho no ene ne ekeka ho no sam pempen so ene sese ye du ana ye empanyimfo anase ye kandifo omudi yanim no omudi ye nhwamo anase be sese omudi ye du no oho na omudi ye edu Waiti ena original TV ede jumedi fufo kra ebrewa ye friend the hot seats. What the hot seats so no Yeni aban impanyinfo, amanyofo, mmrahwebedwafo, ene impo Ghana fo a omunimu de. Efa aye Ghana abakosem ho ene impuntunsem ho ebedi nkita ho afasa dwumede ho. Enti hyiame akosia asabia asumani kwasia de bia no miensa ewo original TV. Na me for the hot seats Mmra. The hot seats asamuni dika enunti yebeka.
On this special occasion, the Jospon Group, together with the Asian African Consortium, AAC, extends a heartfelt salute to the
Penisi, enye dantani danta, nemum dantani disikabano. We ye jumaku ankrankra anasa bang aya sabia ensorin jumedi bia wudie na pesa mansa te ukano enye bebia na oto wajaton dia amansan ebetie yeton safro sefan tuma bebo ye dia no original TV and original FM ye yabo kwaku afa yonko akotokoro enkasroda bra ne beso ye hwe na behu se ye jana no ye nam yeton safro sebrei na ye nton adwaton dia ma enhita magana pana nyina ehu jumedi awudie wo hwe akira kwan a ye wo no fridge ye ben Lisa Hotel ubetimi afre ahoma yiso 0302 986130 original TV original FM so kan ya fasi yakodo so na nhire mama nsanyina ehu.
Makoba say mo agebra twen ye ma ye twen ho ba yankomode na egusu no na ye esua anase ye hwe eyese sa wo pasha wo to dan so to sase emra mu no e de land represent both a dan no anase sase ye ntam da wa ye nsehwe wo so but ye di nkomo ye de na ye separate ne se bia wo to dan ya ye sidida anase wo kota sase so ye nsehwe wo so a ni ntine ye che bo ase ye kirekire mu no emra nim fo agebre atenase a nimdie na bonoma nanso wona ye di nkomo na yi no your friend Yura Philemon La, one and never near Dinkumo, what I said, no be me. Did say what you and so far. The young man will be at any moment from now. Fry, the best of Alarma, but more dearer. So below with TV Nucra, and as a mute numpo. Na tea who phones, like I had can be our happy, but two phones. Now, what you bizarre question, or friend in Tintium, no before that ambassador be near Aj, or so Nasembisa. Council, young man 0550 090 702. 0550-090-702. And on the phone lines, and a na for question brand into us. Council, this is American. Say, assassin, sorry, Medina Messino, the CC Assassia, your mom 90 years lease. Assassin, Dana is 40 years in here, I come 50. 50 national agreement, no, and as a lease agreement, and then Chesapeake reversionary clause woman. Then a bit messy. And I said, then a bit make my year.
Well, it's a reversionary clause in Niwa, then it's not likely we are getting the land again. And remember that land is anything that's even on the land upward. So as a dime was why. I know examples. Oka Adabraka, the old part of Accra, Adabraka, Makola area. Also in
old buildings. Yeah.
Meaning example of buildings, I want those areas. Their lawyers do not do a good job for them those days. They don't even use lawyers. So the indenture, that's been the contract between the sale of the land and the purchase of the land. There was nothing like a reversionary clause. So that meant that upon the expiration of the definite 99 years, the successors or the heirs or people that will inherit from the owners can no more take the building. So building it down, now so because there's no reversionary clause, they can't own the land. So the allodial owner of the land takes over.
Good afternoon. Anybody you are free? Hello. All right. I'm saying Oniso 0550 090 702 0550090702 wo fra no alo TV no na wa bisa ya piki wa bisa question na bisa bisa na ya to aso ntentia muara. So all right, good afternoon caller, but anybody you have referee.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. But your friend?
Yeah, from Christopher. Na me hu mo your friends adwumadia mo ya o TV no so na mpetme bisa ho asem katabi.
Christopher ite but ntentia muara.
Aha, mpacho masem ni say hu asase a estate form omotom no.
Yeah.
Yeah, mpese me bisa say yebetima di omji a yebeto asase omche a yenya problem bia.
All right. Simple question. Yati. I didn't lawyer mama why? That's it. Council.
Yeah.
Inti already our cancer see it's very dangerous.
It is.
It's not as a dynasty as 50 years ago and that no. Me papa ne sidi ma me because reversionary clause be any one thing. Ko asase do no back anti me dia bi.
Anti me be your dia bi.
Around here say now one development there course we Ghana ha titru nkra ha. Say but estate company A was one asase bi ya hwan acres wa ha wo ton betobi. Was obetnya agi o madi.
Ideally, the whole concept of an estate is to have a serviced neighborhood where there's water, there's electricity, and that all the potential challenges the private buyer would have. So that's the whole concept, that they would have acquired their land title certificate, everything is legitimate. But it does not mean that because estate or the concept of an estate which thrives on these tenets exists, you shouldn't go and use your search. It's
that
so
is
important.
And farm was an estate company na trauma. Still now no but money answer do most company na chi.
Yes.
Na say as a title no aba company ni dinu and as ma wo dinu. Na ma ya ade tin ma then you ask your questions and get the needful answers.
Absolutely.
Good afternoon call am but you didn't anybody you are free.
Hello, your friend me I say me cause free. Kaswa.
Osa yetio.
Pacho matos as free. Estate di ho. Na me koto fence wa fa ho no. E ko enso a obi nso abase onso other estate so abase asase ne de dia.
Another estate company.
Another estate company.
Abase asase ne omo dia. Okay.
The company na me faso.
All right. Yeah, that's it. For auto so now adding about it. I know you. Council,
so what you ask that then to lawyer. Okay. Basically, go and get the lawyer. They'll give you good advice.
All right.
And if the lawyer has to go to court, he will go to court on your behalf. Basically,
it's simple. I tell you what's I know you and what I said. I don't say what you can't talk to your card than there. Grassy waka omoye, but what the end there? Okay, and as why we no be better or somebody you through yam. It was a permanent for. The grant to now until was 7 years na fe no. Baby so o kimi tomorrow no different tomorrow na nya o fa ho die eno asomdwe yento aso council.
Yes.
So this issue of reversionary clause here what asem ni here make say
okay
me bisa. Good afternoon caller, your name but odin design na ofrefre.
I'm Paul Amegache.
Paul mbacho etio.
Yes please, I bought a land from a certain company for about 1 year. After buying the land for the 1 year, I was there one day to visit my site. The chief over there has written this thing on it that the work should stop.
The chief has written a notice on your wall.
A notice on the wall that we should stop.
All right.
So after we went to consult the estate developers, like almost two papas.
And papas already here. Is it like they didn't finish paying the owners of the land or whatever?
Yes, the owners of the land said there's an agreement between the chief and then the estate developer, whereby the estate developer is not able to complete the agreement.
Okay.
But with that, for we the clients over there, I think it is not necessary for the chief to stop us from working. Okay. We need to go and then see the estate developer.
All right, so between you and the estate developers in there, you have sorted yourself out.
We have sorted ourselves out.
But the estate developer and the chiefs has not been sorted out yet.
Yes, please.
And by virtue of that, it's affecting you, right?
Yes, please.
Thank you. What's in
law, there's something called Nemo that code non-habit.
Okay.
You can't
give what you don't
have. So if the estate developer has bought land from chiefs, or has made attempts at owning land from chiefs and has not fully owned it, he can't give it out to a third party. I mean, prima facie, I can say this, but maybe when I get to understand the essential nitty-gritties of your peculiar case,
ingredients,
maybe
Okay, so the kind na say Mmra no ko tu Latin word be na Latin no kan ni nchire mu nyina na say wunni wutimi fa de wunni mobi. It means me get say member of iPhone obra me ni iPhone. Yeah. So what I say? It is a say me what I say was me wasase. Which means that as a company with matter as mobi. Obra on watimi add to asase na so wa akwa asase fully from owners no. And some on what me gina say to me na on wanya no mu e de ama obi so fro. Wanya na sa dia then it means onu ni asase onu de bema obi. Kola good afternoon but odin anybody are free.
Pacha Femi Raja am kasa free ewutu break.
Pacha ma onu so kakra wada roma Raja.
Pacha Femi Raja am kasa free ewutu break.
Right number 20.
Pacha menya lawyer number because asana me wo visa na e wa pa.
Okay, nti Pacha producers ni wo chire na on number why?
Pacha.
Me that's it. All right. Council.
Yeah, brother.
This is serious.
It's really it's a very
just I'm on for fun when it comes to land on and I'm not surprised that why I can say statistics is pointing to the fact that about 80-90% of cases are high courts. Land litigations.
Yeah.
Because and then do don't want to said it fraction. My hand down 5 years, 10 years, 7 years. Ebi a nenya ko alto meso kakra meso me ko mbi kakra bi onche but fa nyam senka wanko kra ene katro bi de num kra fa nyam senka wanko because we okay so no adnya ko to asase estate developer nsem wo tua ne sika nyina de ama wo developer so what stops you from also settling yourself with the
so what you see asama ya ka e wo ha nyina ne kire se na ka auto assassin from estate for no na ka ese wo ko search say document assassin crack
na ba estate ni mu na say mai
pepe
call good afternoon hello all right all I know but I'm say me so on me can there I don't know but all right good afternoon Pacho din this in Africa
Pacho Fremi David Kasa free Labadi
David, yet you, but your question.
Pacho, is it like a man on a fairly so better Chilangas, no, and I say a Langas no move to me some by BBC because
no, question, who's a man there?
Your CBC, no, Massa Bahum. Come your friend, a number ye na, or boo, or more than baby on Bessie. We a honor 20 people, Mutimoto so. Abba Bijina Honum. I don't know, say whether I bind a feeling so better to woman or some more to me.
I had Naya one Mutimoda. Or Mutimodada. And a woman, baby, was almost saying in the fufro. Almost says in the fufro. And the Langas ambassador then. Hello? Langas ambassador then here.
Almost say Beji, another sika, side digging finia the other.
All right, but that's it.
If I share Act 1036, the new Land Act, it prohibits the said activities of land guards. It is now criminal. Anyone involved in, I'm not sure how many years, maybe about 10 years or so, you can go to prison for the activities of land guardism if you are caught. Okay, I say recently there's this big tussle between Trasaco and some other Ghanaian. I know the Ghana Police Service went to ask costs. People in about 30, 40 people. And they have been charged and they have been processed in court on the same thing about land guardism.
The same Ghana police are boom. Land guards The
important thing is that laws must be enforced. The
law must be enforced.
It must be enforced.
And to its fullest.
To the fullest extent.
And enforcement
the might of the state must be demonstrated.
Good evening, good afternoon. Bacho Kola, we didn't design after free.
Council, Bacho. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Pacho, not me person, bisa say about autism or ton or man property at it is a lands at the individual via. The next president and the next government of Babano, obey me at the land the nephew, depending on an answer saying.
All right.
Because who say about ton or man say the my individuals.
Okay.
And a person who say said the next president of Babylon. Obetime this answer sending in every microphone in Samana.
All right, me that's it. Question is loud and clear. It's very straightforward.
Okay. Okay. When President Kufuor was in power, they sold off some large tracts of government land. Minister of Foreign Affairs. Foreign Affairs.
Airport. Me am office at you, baby. Opposite, baby. Foreign Affairs is
it's Ghana hostels and student hostels. That land was earmarked by Nkrumah.
Okay.
To build a hostel for African students who are coming to study.
And Bantington is Abrano.
And then Nanado, well, let me know. Nanado was even got one of the lands. But luckily, the transfer, the registration processes had not been completed when bills came to government.
Okay.
The bills reversed it. But when it is done such that there's finality, the whole procedure of transfer and exchange has happened, it becomes a bit difficult. You understand? But once it's not been done, it can be reversed. And I am one of those who is against the sale of state lands. State lands should not be sold.
Good afternoon. But your first is Africa.
But your friend is dying because Africa so.
I'm not yet you.
But I'm in business as I say. What time will be at? A baby time was saying I was sending Panny Bibi also.
I was saying, be a was I said, and they are my top. Any better dressing as an avion can be a missy down also. Okay, yo, we are about to have any other what a new year free lawyer.
Once there's no
is there any timeline?
Well, there's technically should not be a timeline, but you see, once there's no encumbrance, you've realized that there's no challenge, you are sure that ownership is not challenged, there's no problem, you can start. Especially if you bought the land from a legitimate source and you know that this source has sold it to only me. And let me reiterate here that in the New Land Act, it criminalizes the sale, the double or multiple sale of land. Anyone who sells land to more than one person can be held liable by the express provision of Act 1036.
Okay. And Mama, so now I just say, to me, I mean, which means Charles what to the next see what sit down. There be I was a name woman who tell me if all casa de can no say, well, what is we taking possession? I said, but I would treat it can't put a rumble ye baby, I wouldn't go from Busso. To an amount be a trust assassin, a Bayawudi, and I say be a Yawodia. So don't just a massassin now who not trust and Fisher Baby, you know me and some of it, a cheat not on your shoe. You be also a crap. Not such as a Yawodia, but and we if you must have watched us and maybe answer than trout. Get to say be out on Africa, be a teacher, you do us no note in a year. But I know so in trust says, I will be was obese, you see what you non cotton and more before. And what can say? Langas, Zemon so. Emrano, Emma, I say Emrana, a house saying a book and Sasson, some ran, Ebrano. It's ya Langasum. It's a way a Langard now, when I would offer was a medium, my mammy and some me a Langards. When you me penny in a car and was say, someone to Emrano. I told Nana was a baby. I bet you so. And I, my dear idea in Lisa, I saw any Ionica and lawyer and so, and your bread, adversaries of India, my year. My idea differ some sort of sassy. Opposite talk a dine, a dear as a wow, what on then is own. I don't come on the some questions some bars money and new year come. You better technical team, sir, and a holiday dance woman I think I did bread after I met Yama Media Bassine. Lawyer or Jib Branch near better say. Era, Philemon La, and say better say, and a holiday. And so, yeah, what my son and I drive over the way here and never be this and come away. My one sweat me home for so. Me am tried my so Eddie Hocham meeting at the Twum Barimah. I don't do me an outside and Arsadaka Siam, the producers, executive producer, Mr. Sam Quadadi Renchi, and then the producer Samuel Honto, and we be our Jebrefre in you see, you see December. This is a time that everybody has to be extremely careful. While driving, while Nam Kwan, while we be here. The rest of us will be every idea you will PR show a chi to what them was our brains now when you ever saw a baby fear. I don't use any ever said it was the Delphi, or so ever town the acro. To be a see you ever say you now to send. I'm showing you.